Like if you look at how we start our life, at a smiling, bubbling child who has all the trust for everyone, who has all the love for everyone, who has all the curiosity of the mind to experience everything as it is, without any opinions, without any judgment about anything. You know how that naiveness of being a child, it is so powerful. If you look at a child right now, what a beautiful smile that the child gives. Worth $1 million, isn't it? By just looking an innocent child. So that is the expression of the divinity within. That's the expression of the spirituality within. But as we move on into our life, we learn many tricks and treats. Many winning formulas we learn and gather. How to be smart, how to work hard, how to make more money, how to build big houses, how to buy these cars, all the different things that we keep amassing, the wealth and affluence and names and fames. We're learning all those tricks and treats. That makes us very complex. We lose those simplicity of life. We learn how not to trust people. We learn how to be competitive with each other. We learn how to stress more than smile. We forget that life is an open university, and every moment there is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve and expand. Rather than that, we narrow down our mind. We become very constricted in our thoughts. We always try to create a self-centric, me-centric world. Everything becomes about me. What am I going to learn from it? What am I going to get from it? What's my benefit? What's the point? What am I going to benefit from it? Right? Everything is that cost-benefit analysis. Like, what is there for me? What's there for me? So in that egocentric, self-centric mindset, things becomes very difficult. If you think about a wild tiger and try to put that wild tiger into a cage, obviously the tiger in the beginning would be very suffocated, because the tiger's true nature is to be in the wild and be like a king, roam around without any fear, without any confinement. Likewise, we, the pure soul, the Atman, we are also very expansive in our nature. But when we try to confine that infinite soul into this bag of body, bones, flesh and blood, naturally becomes very suffocated. So from that childlike expansive consciousness, when we narrow down to a mean-mindedness and petty self, obviously the soul stresses out. It brings a lot of suffocation, a lot of tightness, a lot of rigidity, a lot of inflexibility, and we stop growing. We stop evolving. In many cases, many of us start going south in a devolution path, and that adds more stress, more worries, more anxieties, more fear, more suffering, more pain, isn't it? As Buddha said rightly, life and time, both are wonderful teachers. Life teaches the value of time, and the time teaches the value of life. So at every different stages of our life, there is something to learn. There is something we must learn if you have an open mind. The entire life is like a vacation, like a university, like whatever you say. Just like in the first few years of our life, we enjoy life the most by experimenting with different things, with touch, with feel, with sound, by breaking things. We want to understand life, we want to feel life. But after that, we become more, quote unquote, civilized. We try to confine ourselves with our do's and don'ts and forget about the freedom that we have as human beings in this life. We try to make our own cage. We try to imprison ourselves. We try to shackle ourselves with our mind about pains and sufferings. So those chains of sufferings are created by our own mind only. So to a larger extent, if you think about the evolution of the stress is a factor of our mind. Our mind creates this stressful condition. If you look at the deeper aspect of stress, it feels like an opportunity to see that underlying connection with the infinite intelligence. So it's a opportunity in disguise to understand the meaning of life, to understand the truth of life, to understand the essence of life. As I've already talked about the importance of pure knowledge, the true knowledge, the Brahman, what is the essence of life, and what is the Maya, the names and forms created by the mind or the illusion of the mind. And most of the time, when we forget about the Brahman aspect, the essence of everything and everyone, and try to get confined with the names and forms, then we get a lot of stress. It's primarily a function of body consciousness. At a grosser level, we try to confine ourselves on the outer realms of life rather than going deeper and understand the essence of that. If you look at, the stress happens in many different stages or different aspects of our life, primarily at our work and with our relationships and with our own self. So if you look at the essence of work is joy, and the essence of relationship is love. The essence of education is knowledge, and the essence of life is beauty, trust, expansiveness. In order to understand this concept, it reminds me of an anecdote from Abraham Lincoln's life. When Abraham Lincoln became the President of the United States, his father was a shoemaker. Obviously, all those people who were more influential, more aristocratic, more rich, they thought it's not fair, because to occupy the highest position in the government, somebody from their side should come, a shoemaker's son. So on the first day of his presidency, when Mr. Lincoln was going to give an inaugural speech, just in the middle, on his way, someone said, "Mr. Lincoln, you should not forget that your father was making shoes in our family." And with this, the whole Senate laughed at Abraham Lincoln and thought that they made a fool out of him. But Lincoln, as he was obviously made up of a different metal altogether, different materials. He looked at the man, he smiled, and he said, "Sir, yes, I know that my father used to make shoes in your family, and probably many others in the Senate, because no one else made shoes like my father did. He was not making just shoes, he was pouring his entire soul into it. And never ever there was a complaint about his shoes. And I am truly proud of the craftsmanship, the creativity and the life that he was giving to shoemaking. May I ask you, do you have a problem with the shoes my dad made? And fortunately, I also have learned the art of making shoes myself. So if you have a complaint, I wouldn't mind making another pair for you. My dad was a creator. He loved what he did, and I'm proud of him. So when he said these kind of words in a very simple manner with humility, the whole Senate thought like, wow, what a person he is. Instead of being angry, instead of becoming mad at this person, he was so humble. Being at the president also, he was willing to make another pair of shoes for this person. So friends, look, he could have been stressed out because of that. He could become angry. He was the president of the nation. But look at the other side of the stress is smile. He chose to smile rather than stress, because when you smile, you connect to your inner source. You connect to that perennial source of wit and wisdom. And you learn how to express that divinity in a very humble way. And that's the beauty of life. Because it doesn't matter what you do, it matters how you do it. With your own passion, with your own love, with your own creativity, then anything and everything that you touch becomes a gold. So we take things in a serious way. We forget the essence of everything and try to get caught up into this names and forms, the competition, to show up our status, to prove something, to the peer pressure. We actually get lost in this illusion of life and forget about that expansive consciousness, that pure love and simplicity that we are and we have. It reminds me of a silly joke. It so happened that one person was there and he had a lot of complaints about his life. Everything that he went through in his life, he had a big question mark. Why did I get born in this poor family? Why did I get married to this person with so much of adjectives? Why did I work under this boss? Why did my life suck? Everything that he experienced in life was a complaint in one way or other. So he died prematurely, maybe out of heart attack or something like that. And he goes to heaven. He is right there in the big hall. The God is sitting on his throne doing his work, and he goes to the corner of the hall and wanted to ask everything, why it was so unfair to his life. Everything, millions of questions he had in his mind. So before he started saying one by one, he thought that, hey, God knows everything. And why do I have to remind him of every misery that I went through? And rather he chose to ask a big question in a thundering voice, why? And it caught God's attention. The God came quietly, patted his back, and said very nicely, son, I made this entire world for your entertainment, but I think you took it too seriously. Right? So we don't have to take everything seriously. We have to have that childlikeness. We have to have that simplicity. We have to learn how to smile. Even though we did not want to confine ourselves, just like a tiger in the cage, we are tied up. To many people, it must be creating a lot of stress, a lot of worries, a lot of anxieties. The stress of losing a job, the stress of finance, how do I pay my mortgages? How do I send my child to the college? How do I work? What if I get that infection? What will happen if I die? All those millions of questions lurking in our mind and obviously causing a lot of stress. but the true nature of us being that divine self, having that bigger trust in the nature who made us from one tiny cell to 70 trillions of cells. We must believe in that trust. We must believe in that there is a greater lesson to learn even at this moment as life is offering all these situations. We must learn to be a part of the entire universe, not apart from it. To learn how to live life in a responsible way by understanding the bigger purpose of our life, to grow, to evolve and expand our consciousness from time and again, and coming out of those clutches of narrowness, selfishness and the me-centric world. I think it's a great lesson for all human beings collectively to learn this lesson and grow into a different dimension where we understand the true nature of our life, where we appreciate the beauty of the flowers, the smiles of the children, and the opportunities as every stressful situations offer to get connected to the divine self, to expand and grow rather than suffocate and suffer. So that is the true essence of yoga. That is the true essence of meditation. To delve into our true nature, to take a holy dip into that pure consciousness. And that would make our life more meaningful. There will be pain, no doubt, but there will be no suffering. We will choose to smile and learn the lesson and then maintain our dignity, self-respect, wisdom and wit, just like Mr. Lincoln did. We don't have to surrender to the pettiness of life and others' comments and ridicules about us. We must re-establish ourselves with the profound Atman, as Vivekananda says, Amrutasya Santana, the children of that nectar, the children of immortality. We have already talked about in the true knowledge, we are all that pure consciousness where there is no death, there is no life. It's only a continuum of experience. So no virus can ever kill us and confine us forever. We must understand how to live together, how to be the one that we are, and bring that joy and happiness rather than fear and stress. So we need to learn how to choose smile versus stress. And I'll give you a simple trick that I have been using. In fact, I have interviewed many people who have self-realized, and one of the sure technique that they all practice is constant remembrance of the God. And one of the simplified technique that yoga and breathing teaches us is to remember that constant awareness that we are Brahman, we are that pure intellect, we are that pure consciousness. And in order to get us reminded, we have to learn how to tie this simple concept into our breath, because we breathe 21,600 times every day. So when you tie up the thought of our true nature to the breath that we do all the time, obviously we'll become pure and perfect. In India, people used to give their kids' name as the names of the gods, like Ram, Krishna, Govinda. And one of the reasons could be because there is a belief that whatever thought and impression that we have in the last moment of our life, and the next birth becomes like that. For example, if I am in my last moment and if I need a glass of water, I will call my son Hari. And that moment when I leave this body, obviously I'll go to Vaikuntha. I'll go to the abode of happiness and joy forever. So likewise, we have to practice this simple technique of Hari Om. So every time you breathe out, you chant Hari in your mind, and every time you breathe in, you chant Om in your mind. Because Hari stands for Harle. Take out all my pangs, take out all my sufferings, take out all my stress and worries. And Om means give me that pure knowledge, give me that love, give me that joy of life, give me that smile that I have lost. Right? Hari as you exhale and Om as you inhale. Even if you climb a staircase, one step Hari, the next step Om. Even if you brush your teeth, up and down, Hari Om, Hari Om. So if you can blend this into every act of your life, from now on, you'll see the last moment also we'll be practicing Hari Om. And Mahatma Gandhi did that in a so perfect way that when he was assassinated, he said, Hey Ram. It takes a lifelong practice to do this constant remembrance. That's a small technique that if you can apply into your life, that will be great. Hari Om technology of stress management.